Hey, mister, that's a huge truck. Yes, yes it is. Guys, you join me inside the 2021 Ram 1500 TRX, and I wore my, I don't know if you can see it, my TRX t-shirt just for the occasion. Guys, this truck, right? This truck, this is how I think the Ram 1500 TRX came to be. Just a scenario for you. A couple guys from Ram go to a playground, not in a creepy way, and just start interviewing kids. And they find this kid named Billy, and they ask Billy, just tell us your dream truck. What is it? What does it look like? What does it sound like? And so Billy goes, well, it would be big, like really big. All right, really big, got that. What else? Fast, like a super fast truck. Okay, super fast. Anything else? Loud, like so loud, so loud. Okay, so loud. What else, Billy? What else you got? It could take jumps. Yeah, could go off jumps. Could go, John, did you write that down? Go off jumps. Okay, so let me just recap. We have really big, super fast, so loud, and it can do jumps. Yeah, I want that. Okay, all right, thank you so much, Billy. Really appreciate it. Here's a crayon, and we just need you to sign over your rights to that truck, okay? Okay. There you go. And that's it. Guys, that is how I think the Ram 1500 TRX came to be, because how could it be any other way? It is a kid's Tonka truck come to life, and Ram wants it to gun after the Ford F-150 Raptor. We're going to see how it does today on Miles Per Hour. And there it is. Oh, there it is. Jeez, there is the Ram 1500 TRX, the T-Rex. Oh, look at this thing. It's a monster. This one right here is painted in billet silver with the duotone black down below, and that's $200 for that paint job and $250 for the duotone. And before I dive right in to the Ram TRX, let's quickly chat about the channel and how if you have not subscribed yet, you really should do that. I think you should, because if you do so, you'll get access to daily POV drives, walkarounds, live Q&As, and reviews like this one. Don't want to miss out on any of that, so just hit subscribe and tap the bell to get notified so you can start enjoying. And if you have been doing that for a while and you want to support the channel, you can do so simply by liking, commenting, and sharing this video, or you can go one step further, get yourself a Miles Per Hour t-shirt, or become a patron on our Patreon account. Got some fun perks for you. Any way you want to support the channel, we super duper appreciate it. And my spiel is over. Let's dive back in to the Ram 1500 TRX. And I mean, if you were to picture a T-Rex as a vehicle, wouldn't it look like this? Wouldn't it just be the most vicious pickup truck on sale? I think so, and I think they pulled it off. They completely pulled it off. This design is so in your face that you can't help but quiver as any other vehicle on the road, except for maybe a 6x6. You know, it's just power in vehicular form. So let's go over what this vehicle has, what every Ram TRX is going to have, what this one has specifically in terms of options. Starting up here at the front, the T-Rex is going to get a Ram-specific grille with lots of air intake. You've got a huge HEMI V8 engine with a supercharger on top of it. You need air. You need lots of air. So we've got the intake integrated in the grille, and then we have this massive hood scoop with those 3 LEDs baked right in. And that is completely functional, as are the heat extractors up here on the hood. Then we've got the 6.2 liter supercharged badging, and this one has the TRX graphics package on the hood, which I think looks pretty rad, and then on the side over there. So that's an option on this one, but I do think it goes well with the design of the vehicle. Then we've got LED headlights up here. You can see the DRLs blinking at me just in the camera. And full adaptive LED headlights are standard on the Ram TRX in these black headlight housings. Looks mean. And then down below, we've got these LED fog lights. Over here, we've got the LED marker lights on these flared wheel arches, ultra flared. The Ram TRX has a 6-inch wider track than the standard 1500 and is 8 inches wider overall. 8 inches. You can see it's basically filling up this camera frame. It fills up a parking space too. It's huge. It fills up the lanes on the freeway. It's a giant SUV. Down here, we've got a couple of exposed tow hooks, and these are steel bumpers now. They swap those out for the aluminum or plastic ones. They're steel bumpers. You also have a skid plate. Functional. And it all comes together for a truly potent fascia. Potent face, in your face. Moving to the side. I even like the silver because silver, when you paint a car silver, you can't hide the design of the vehicle behind a silver. You can hide it in a blue or some other colors, but silver really just accentuates the lines. And in this case, it accentuates how flared out, how bold the design is of the Ram TRX. It's awesome. Coming to the side, I mentioned those flared wheel arches. It's cool you got these. Oh, I didn't mention that this is also functional ventilation in here. Pass through, functional, getting air to these tires and just manipulating it within the wheel housings. Then you're going to get standard 18-inch wheels. This one has the upgraded beadlock capable. These are not beadlocked, but beadlock capable wheels. The designs are very truckish, love them. We've got like a silvery finish in here and then a brighter silver on the outside. You got that Ram logo and the center caps. And these are wrapped in Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain tires, 325, sorry. They are a 35-inch tire, and only the Ram TRX can make 35-inch tires look like reasonable size. You could even see a 37-inch tire in there, in those massive wheel housings. That's just crazy, but yes. You've got all-terrain tires, super capable Wranglers, and then we can peek into the suspension here, if you go down like this. The Bilstein suspension made specifically for the Ram TRX. Get more into that later. Ram badging on the side. Here's the duotone, kind of sparkly black. Hard to see in this light, but it does sparkle. And then we've got the Ram rock rails for some extra monies. Didn't mention the beadlock capable wheels. Those are $18.95, I believe. I probably put a card in there. JD probably put a card in there to help me out. And then the rock rails are, I think, $1,000. Correct me, JD? Maybe. And as you can see, they're not the full running boards that you can have. So many Mopar accessories. You can add running boards. These ones are just the rock rails, but it does give you a little lip for you to I'm dying. For you to put your foot on there and assist on your way up. Fuel door here. Open it up. Capless filling. Love that. You are going to be seeing this a lot because, it gets 12 combined MPG. So you'll be here a lot, despite the size of the fuel tank. There's the Ram TRX graphics on the side. There's another look at the suspension from Bilstein. Active Train Dynamics. And then up here, more Mopar accessories. We've got the Ram bar, steel Ram bar. It's like $1,100, $1,200. And on top of that, this is one way you can use it. They've added the LED spotlights, 4,800 lumens on those. I tried them out briefly. They're bright, okay? They're very bright. The Ram bar, it's as designed like, this is very, speaking of the Tonka truck stuff, this is very Tonka truck, but I don't know if I would want that on my Ram TRX. Don't know. I think it could look better without it. Yeah, just me. At the back we can see the flared rear wheel arches, and oh no, the lights turned themselves off. I'll turn those back on. There we go, that's better. Lights on. So you can see the LED tail lights here in black housings just like the headlights. You got Ram printed right there. The fender flares Unlike the front ones, which had functional ventilation, these back ones have closed off panels, non-functional, but hey, who has to know? Just looks wide and awesome. How wide? The Ram TRX has a 6-inch wider track and is 8 inches wider overall than the Ram 1500. It is also 2 inches taller. You will not confuse the two on the road. I assure you of that. Back over here, just like the fronts, we've got these marker lights and the steel bumpers, tow hooks, 2 more of them, and exhaust, dual exhaust with 5-inch outlets. Huge. Makes a mean noise. And then we've got that full 35-inch tire spare mounted up and under the bed. This one also has the towing group. So you get your hitch and the hookups. It can tow up to 8,100 pounds. And then on the tailgate, we've got Ram printed out there. Not as big as Ford printed out across the whole tailgate on the Raptor. I think this might be preferred. Where everything else is so in your face, this one's kind of like more subtle in the world of trucks. TRX bottom left, 4x4 bottom right. And because this has the level 2 equipment group, this is a power operated tailgate. Power lowering, not power raising, with damping. And we've got the bed utility group, so we got a spray-in bed liner. And these rails on the side with adjustable mount points. And you've got a bed step. So come over here, put your foot up, push it out, and it locks into place there. And you really need this because otherwise, unless you can leap, you're in the NBA, or you want to put your butt up and swing your legs over every time, you're going to need a way to get up and into the bed. So you can just step up easily there, right foot there, and take a gander at the spare tire mount, another Mopar accessory. Can equip up to a 37-inch tire in here. This is the 35-inch tire, and look at how much of the bed it takes up. This is perfect for your desert running if you need to hot swap your tires in a hurry, but otherwise, if you're going to use this every day, you're going to have like half of your bed usable. This is a 5-foot 7-inch bed. The Raptors is a 5-foot 5-inch bed. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Guys, don't get me wrong, it's super cool. And up there, we've got a high-mounted LED stoplight. It's part of the technology group, I believe. And that's pretty much it for the Ram 1500 TRX's exterior. This, I kind of think I need, no, there you go. Thought I needed 2 hands to do it, but you can do it with 1 hand, aggressively. Thoughts overall on the Ram 1500 TRX is that there's just nothing like this on the road. If you want the most BA truck from the factory, it doesn't get better than this. It's cool. It's making the little kid in me giggle with delight. That's what he's doing. The Ram 1500 TRX has it for the exterior package. Now let's go inside and see if it still brings it. Before we hop inside, we can see we've got smart key access. You can leave the key in your pocket, just rest your hand on the door handle to unlock it. To lock it, you press on that black tab right there. We've got that for the front 2 doors, nothing for the rear doors. Now taking a look inside at this handsome cabin. The recently redesigned Ram 1500 was a big upgrade in terms of aesthetic and quality materials, and so it lends itself nicely to the Ram TRX. Some TRX specific details I will point out, like on the seats and on the passenger side, but a lot of it is just Ram goodness. And this vehicle I already mentioned has the level 2 equipment group, which brings with it so many upgrades, but it does cost like almost $8,000. And then we also have the carbon fiber package. So we've got genuine carbon fiber trim pieces, trim piece there, trim piece over on the passenger side dashboard. And then we've also got the Harman Kardon sound system. It's a 19 speaker 900 watt system That's an upgrade over the standard 10 speaker system, and I think it's worth the money. As a non-audiophile, I see the upgrade price for the Harman Kardon sound system as worth it. I've listened to that 10 speaker unit in a variety of FCA vehicles, and it's like underwhelming. The Harman Kardon just brings up the volume just a little bit, and it's worth the money while not charging, you know, like full-on luxury vehicle $3,000 plus for their sound systems. That seems worth it to me. To go into the details of this cabin, we've got leather and Alcantara in a variety of places, and I'll tell you why Alcantara is a strange choice to me in an off-road truck. Because if you know Alcantara, you know that one, in addition to long-term wear, it's going to pill and not look so good after a while. That's fine. But in the short term, when you take it off-road, Alcantara grabs on to dirt and dust like crazy. So keeping this cabin clean, especially when you go off-road, is going to be such a pain in the butt that I don't know why they chose that. Now, standard on the Ram TRX, you're going to get cloth and vinyl seats. These upgraded buckets with the Level 2 equipment group add in those Alcantara pieces and the leather. And I like the leather. I would choose to have full leather, no Alcantara. But I guess, you know, sporty, Alcantara goes with sporty. It's a sport truck. You can make the case. Just practically, I don't know how that's going to go for people who take this truck off-road all the time. Looking at the details, though, we've got leather up here on the door panels with this nice contrast stitch. Then that Alcantara that we have mixed feelings about, the carbon fiber, more leather here with contrast stitching, very soft feel. I like the little details like this bezeling here on the grab handle. Classic FCA, you know, not the highest quality window switch pieces. And just the front two windows are auto one touch. The rears are power, of course, but they're not auto one touch. Then down below, this turns into hard plastics just below the armrest there. Big door pockets, and this one has two sizes of cup holder molded foam pieces. That's just fun to play around with. And we'll have to see if the big bottle fits in those. I don't know if it will. Then down here we got Ram tread plates. That feels really nice. Ram on the all-weather floor mats. There we've got power adjustable pedals. You control that here. They can go away. You got the long legs. Make them come close. You got the shorties. Like me, I don't have super long legs. I've got a long torso, not long legs. Then we've got more high quality materials in here, that leather and the contrast stitch over your lighting adjustments. And then I was just looking at it up close because I thought it had it, and yes, it does. It has these design details around the borders. This is plastic. It's not metal, but it's a nice touch. And then the textured notches or textured grab pieces for the air vents. Then this is all plastic, but then this transitions to nice leather with the contrast stitching across the dashboard, except for right up there, that's going to be Alcantara, and it's going to collect dirt. Harman Kardon speaker cover there, Ram put right up there for your over infotainment storage slot. Power adjustable seats. They are heated and ventilated for the front and rear seats as part of the Level 2 equipment group. That's a nice upgrade. And then here are the rock rails I mentioned that give you just that little bit of lip to make it easier to hop up and in the cabin. Let's do that. Without that, it would be kind of a pain because that's an extra like 4 or 5 inches. So those actually make a difference here. And let's close it. Let's leave the door open because it's kind of dark in this cabin without any sort of sunroof. No standard sunroof. You can choose a dual pane panoramic sunroof, and I think I'd probably go with that because it brings in a ton of light, and otherwise this black leather interior is a bit drab. Okay, let's fire this thing on. Put it on brake, press the start stop button right there. We're gonna see some cool TRX graphics on the 7-inch instrument cluster there. Meanwhile, the 12-inch Uconnect 4 infotainment is booting up. Hear that idle? It's nice. It's very nice. Oh, I didn't mention this. So, higher quality materials, but then you got some cheap ones. That's a super cheap fielding door handle. You have memory seats, 2-position memory seats. This one also, the technology group that, or package or group, I don't know, they call them groups. The technology group that gave you that high-mounted LED stoplight in the bed also gives you a head-up display with some information. You got speed limit info, your active speed, and then some navigation data. Then looking at the steering wheel, I like this. This is a nice injection molded piece over the airbag cover. Some automakers really cheap out on these, and it's something you look at all the time. You can tell that it's cheap. This feels very nice. I love the 3D effect of the Ram right there in the dark chrome. Off to the right-hand side, these are your active safety goodies, if you have them. This one has the Safety Plus group, or whatever it's called, and it gives you adaptive cruise control, so here are your distance following, and it also gives you lane keeping assist. And then, so that's your cruise control, and that's your adaptive follow. And then that same kind of detailed portion around the border here that you found on the air vents is on these surrounds for these plastic switches. And they don't feel that cheap. That's nice. Leather, and then the Alcantara with the contrast stitching on the insides. A leather flat bottom steering wheel is standard on the Ram TRX. This one with the Alcantara flat bottom and the carbon fiber are part of the level 2 plus the carbon fiber groups. Then over here, we've got some controls for that 7-inch TFT display, your phone controls and voice commands, and then these paddles back here. Notice that you've got them on the top and bottom. It's not a consistent piece though. It's not one piece of aluminum, and they are aluminum, but it's a neat design. And this way, if you got your hands up here, if you got your hands down here, you can still feel it. 9 and 3 though, you're gonna be kind of split with your fingers, top and bottom. But they had to do that because they wanted you to still have access to these controls that seek the media or raise the volume depending on which side of the steering wheel, because they've got them on the left and on the right. Then back here, your wipers and turn signals. See those turn signals? And then the one touch. There we go. And no other stock on the right-hand side. So let's go through, well, let's first look at these gauge cluster. These are analog gauges on the right and left of the TFT display. And I like that they're not really plain. They've got this nice red accenting on the inside and bezeling for the borders. That's a pretty cool detail. I like that. Then your fuel gauge, which will not stay high for long. And you've got your temperature up there, your oil temp, battery life, and directions. Compass was the word I was looking for. And then on the left-hand side is your tachometer. Again, I like the details. It got some details with this like crosshatch pattern on the inside and the bezeling on the borders, and then very clear numbers. And I like that the 6 and 7 are accented in red for your red line. Oil temp over there. TRX right in the front and center. And then going through your TFT display using these keys right here, we can see our fuel, 8.2 average MPG. That's been the last quarter tank. It's been like that. Going through it, driver assistance features, performance, lots of different timers and metrics here. Quarter mile times, braking distance, G-force, maximum G-force, lap timers. If you're lapping this, if you're taking this to a track, I don't know, are you a hero or are you crazy? Speed. Going up, some off-road data for you, pitch and roll, wheel articulation, and that's going to be in real time. Drivetrain, you can see, turn the wheel, changes. Every time I turned, you couldn't see it. That's fun. Going up, vehicle info, just so many things. Oil life, intake temp, engine torque, engine power, air-fuel ratio, boost pressure. Not going to say all of them. You can see for yourself. Okay, speed warning, vehicle diagnostics, settings, messages, audio. You have the towing group. This one has the towing group. What information can we give you? Trailer braking system and your baking system. You have some trailer baking back there. Come get your muffins. Trip info and fuel economy again. So that's what's on your 7-inch TFT, along with, as you go through the different drive modes, going over here, it'll give you some cool graphics. So we go to snow mode. The same, interestingly, spec'd TRX right there on the graphics. It looks just like this one. Imagine that. Your towing, your sports. Baja, that one's fun. That's cool. Rock. mud and sand, and a custom mode, and finally auto mode, which is normal driving. So those are the graphics for the Ram TRX. Then coming over, zoom out for a second, more of that carbon fiber up here, storage cubby up here, along with a DC socket. Wonder what's going to plug in there that might mount right there. Is it a radar detector? Well, yes! You've got 710 horsepower. You might want to use it once in a while, and therefore you might attract the attention of the authorities. Down here, TRX, I already went through these a little bit, but you hit the TRX button and it brings up this menu with all your different drive modes. You've got 8 of them. Sport, towing, snow, auto, custom. And I'll pause here because you can go into custom setup and then adjust various things like your transmission, your paddles, your stability control, your suspension, and your steering. So you have all those all preset, and when you go into custom, it'll bring all those up. Your mud and snow, rock, and Baja modes. When you change up the drive mode, it's going to change up your steering feel, your throttle response, your four-wheel drive system rather, and the transmission tuning. Going back out. Over here, we've got the four-wheel drive auto mode. This is kind of where you leave it all the time. This is a permanent four-wheel drive vehicle, so there's no two-wheel drive mode for your burnouts, although it's got lots of power. You can make the car slide on dirt, not on street. Four-wheel drive high mode, four-wheel drive low, and then your rear axle locker. And then, of course, your launch control. Yes, the Ram TRX has a launch button that you can hit anytime. Just hit that button, full brake, full throttle, and you can launch it. Looking at the 12-inch Uconnect system, this is a good system, not a great system. The more time I've spent with it and the newer systems that are coming out, you realize that it does have some sluggishness, but it's got a ton of real estate, so you can kind of give it a bit of a pass in certain ways. But if you go to things like, let's hit TRX and go to performance pages, the first time you boot this up, it takes forever. I'm actually going to wait this out with you guys, and you can just see how long it'll take to boot this up. So if you want to show off in a pinch, good luck. You got to wait all that time for it to boot up. And that's with the car running for a little while. Timers. Oh boy. See? Delays. And pausing and catching. Gauges. We got 2 pages of those. G-force meter. Dyno. Active dyno. And vehicle dynamics. So that's all cool. Drive modes, and then race options. Over here, you can set the RPM at which you want to launch. You get your shift lights if you're going to be taking this to a drag strip with, I mean, you might want to do. It's going to be probably the fastest truck there. Even if you're racing against tuned trucks, this is still a monster. All right, so back to the infotainment. You can switch up these tiles up here. You can have the bottom one go to the top, and then if you exit out of this, then you can swap in, sorry about that, you can swap in media, comfort, navigation, phone, and travel link into these places. So if you want to swap in your climate control settings, you can do that. And then again, now I want it up there, now it's up there. So that's all very user-friendly, and it's fairly responsive. Doesn't take too long to load. And then down here, you've got some hot buttons for navigation, and you can have the full screen navigation. But it's just got a little bit of a delay, and the graphics aren't as good as the Uconnect 5 system. The 5 system is a really nice upgrade, so I'm waiting for that to make itself present here with your Ram TRX. You do have a 360 camera as part of that. Is it part of the technology group, or is part of the, I can't remember if it's part of the tech group or part of the level 2 group, but we have it here. It's not a standard feature. Wide view rear, wide view front, narrow front, backup camera, and then that 360 camera that we saw. They call it surround view. Useful for how big this vehicle is. It's hard to manipulate, honestly, especially in a parking lot setting. And then some controls down here. These are your 3-stage heated driver seats, heated or ventilated driver seat, passenger seat for the same thing. Steering wheel is heated, backup camera, dimmed mirror. Speaking of the mirror, yes, it's auto dimming. It's also a digital rearview mirror, so you can see through whatever might be in your bed or whatever. See behind you. Useful. Very useful. Back to the Uconnect system for a little bit. You have some physical keys over here for climate control. If you don't want to hunt around in the system, that's useful. I like that you have a physical mute button, and the volume knob is nice and chunky. It's a substantial volume knob, and it's got the knurled finish on that. You've got a physical tuner slash kind of selector you can rotate your way around. More of the physical climate control keys. Trailer braking system over here. That's metallic-like finish. I don't think it's actually real metal, but it looks cool. That's nice. And then you've got 6 auxiliary switches down here. This one is wired up, so aux 1 is going to turn on those LED lights that are mounted on the ram bar. Then your cruise control, above the aux keys, you have these buttons right here for off-road cruise control, traction control, parking sensors, front and rear. Those are going to be standard features on the Ram TRX, I believe. Gosh, or maybe they're part of the level 2 group. I apologize, but this one has parking sensors front and rear. Wireless smartphone charging, that is part of the level 2 group. Then we got a textured portion down here. This is real carbon fiber there. That's part of the carbon fiber group. And then this bezeled portion there. Open that up. Real cup holders as opposed to fake cup holders. I don't know what I was just saying just now. Cup holders, period, is what I was saying. Leather wrap, perforated leather wrapped gear selector. And we can see this piece right here. Car has what, 3,200 miles on it, and this is already chipped. Not a great sign. But then down here, that same design as we found on the, on the air vents and on the surrounds for the climate controls. Is my seat on? Yes. That's why I'm burning up. We find that same design here, along with the leather-wrapped, contrast-stitched gear selector boot. And more leather and contrast stitching in here. This is all nice. Here's your TRX key. T-Rex. Ram T-Rex. I love this. I love textured things. They've got it on the key. That's cool. Unlock, lock, your power tailgate release, and your remote start. And then down there, your panic button. It's not a super heavy key, but hey, it's got nice details. And then you've got a nice holder for the key as well. Up here, the Alcantara on the center console that will get dirty. The leather on the borders with the contrast stitching. Very nice feeling for now. And then TRX plaque right here. This is cool. Supercharged HEMI, 702 horsepower. That's your VIN. And then your twin screw supercharger. And your boost pressure. There you go. That's cool. Neat. Pop open the first layer, and you've got the shallow portion in here covered in felt. Open it up fully, and we can see, it's a tease. I already did a tease for the big bottle test. We'll do that in a sec. We can see we've already got a spot. And then we've got an AC socket in here, and I love this. It's going to be hard to show, but I'm going to do my best. Love this little detail. We've got a man off to the left, then the Ram TRX, and then an actual T-Rex. For scale. And then a Raptor. Itty bitty Raptor down there. Every time they have a chance to rib the Raptor, they do it. And I'll show you one other part on this vehicle where they just totally throw shade at the Raptor, and it's cool. So that's your center console. Nice and big, and it continues up in here with a bit of a pocket. That's my arm in there. Deep and useful. And then we've got some measurements up here on the bottom of the center console. Over on the passenger side, more leather up on the dashboard. It just feels really good. Love to see that in a vehicle costing this much. It's like worth it. Then yet again, we've got some texturing right there on the carbon fiber laid passenger glove, or like upper glove box portion. TRX there, because you pop this open and you got a neat little cubby there. Actually not that small, it's a pretty big cubby. And then leather down here with more contrast stitching. Actually, this doesn't feel like leather. That is leather. This feels like just premium materials. Then down here, your glove box. Wide, not deep or tall, but wide. And then that same wrapped grab handle over there as the driver's side. Just a normal cloth headliner. These garage opener buttons. Over here, this is how you open and close the back glass. Give you that pass-through. No sunroof, so no sunroof controls. LEDs for your dome lights. Oh, you can power open and close, or power close rather. Power open. Let's get it right, Miles. Power open the tailgate vanity with lights, and importantly, it slides. Yes. Doesn't slide all the way, notably. You got this little gap right here where sun can get in if your head's all the way back. But it does slide, and that gets you some points. All right, let's hop into the back seats. But first, let's just do the big bottle test because we're right here, okay? So big bottle test in the Ram 1500 TRX. I've already shown that you can fit it in the center console. Let's try the door pockets just to see. And oh, it might. We gotta try it. It stays. That's a second spot for your big bottle in the Ram TRX. Let's open this up just to try it. Let's see if it'll fit. Oh, just too big. Just too big. Glove box, I mean, it'll probably fit, but I don't care. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Glove box, doesn't matter. Let's try the real cup holders right here. No, that's a fail. And this cubby right there, I guess that could work. It's not gonna go anywhere. That could work. That's another spot. And I already showed you the center console, but let's show it again. Fits easily, even standing up. So get like 8 of your big bottles and put them in the center console. The Ram TRX passes the big bottle test. No one is surprised. Okay, let's hop in the rear seats, show what that is like. First off, the Ram TRX is only available in crew cab configuration, so you're gonna have all this space in the back seats. You're not gonna get half doors or just 2 doors. It's only gonna be this 4 full-size door configuration here. And just like the front, we've got leather up there, carbon fiber, Alcantara, perforation, and that same little notched detailing there. Leather there on the center, on the armrest with a contrast stitch, bezeling on the grab handle, plastic. Harman Kardon speakers. Looking at the backs of the seats, the full leather seats, love this. Leather all the way down to Alcantara. There's a slot back there, and then these straps right here where you can hook things onto. Full weather floor mats. And these seats, the headrests, as we see there, can fold down to make visibility easier. More speakers up there. Again, no sunroof. Got your reading light there. Hooks for your laundry. These seats can fold up, of course. Hard to do one-handed. All right. To improve your utility options, and then you can expand this into additional storage solutions and put the seats back down, and things will stay there more easily, although it doesn't kind of like lock it off in any way, so it's not security for you. And then I gotta push this back like that. And that's locked up in there. Put that down. I'm gonna hop up and in and show you some other cool things about these seats. One, they can slide. And that gives me a recline here to the seat. Put this down, hop back down again. Oh look, leather and stitched grab handle there. So that's what the recline seat looks like. And you can really lounge back there because, back up and in, I just like doing this to myself, because you've got giant foot pockets and you've got leg room. It's just so easy back here. You're absolutely chilling in the back of the Ram TRX. Slide the seat back, and you've got even more knee and leg room. This is what your head situation is like, your headroom situation. This is my head situation coming at you. It's my head situation. Yes, I've got headroom, no problems there. And then this piece right here, where is it? There you go. Pull that down, and now if you just have 2 passengers, you've got a nice center console with Alcantara, cup holders, and storage. That's pretty nice. That's very nice. Yeah, the feeling of space in the back of this Ram TRX is serious, generous. Carbon fiber here, more cup holders. Down there, did I show you up there? Yes, I think I did. Maybe I forgot. USB-Cs, USBs, aux port, and then I showed you the DC socket. 2 more USB-Cs, USBs. Heating and ventilation for your rear seats. Impressive stuff, guys. Turn off. Another AC socket. And your own individual air vents. No additional climate controls back here, so you're gonna have to ask the front passengers to adjust it as you will. But man, these are nice digs. This is a very nice truck. It is $90,000 as tested, but it's a very, very nice truck. Oh, I don't usually do this, but I want to pop the hood and show you something. Let's turn off the truck for a sec. Pop the hood, grab this handle right here, and then we head on over. I was just talking about how Ram is ribbing on the TRX, or sorry, Ram's TRX is ribbing on the Raptor in a variety of ways. One, I don't love that you can't see pretty much any of the engine right here. You can come to the side and you'll see the supercharger and then the HEMI down there, but it's not pretty. This is kind of like why you get a Hellcat powered motor, so you can look at it and just awe. Here we just get this plastic cover. It does say TRX on it, but it's very much plastic and not that interesting. You can see the functional air coming in from that hood scoop into there. And yeah, if you peek your head through, you can see the SRT and the Hellcat right there. But what I want to show you is this. Lift this up and check this out. That is a T-Rex eating a Raptor. That's just cool. I love that. That's like, you've got your big kid truck. These are big kids who made this vehicle. They're big kids who know what they're doing, but big kids nonetheless. I love that. That and that graphic on the center console. All right, without further ado, I mean, really without further ado, this was a while. Let's go drive the Ram T-Rex. Start it up, rev it up, and go for a drive. Yes, the Ram T-Rex has launch control, so of course we're going to use it. Going into sport mode, hitting the launch button right down here, put my foot on the brake, give it full gas, let go. A little bit of wheel spin. Oh! Vicious! Okay, that's how that goes. That is how that goes. Now I'll tell you one thing. Not as wild of a takeoff as the other Hellcat powered vehicles, even that Durango SRT Hellcat that I just had. Not the same kind of craziness of launch, but of course this vehicle has another 1,000 pounds on the Ram T-Rex. Oh, that is what we call bad luck, my friends. I totally didn't see that there was an officer across the street when I did that launch, and of course he pulled me over, but he was such a cool guy. He was really interested in the Ram T-Rex, and I got to share a bit about it. Gave me a warning, very gracious of him, and I in turn promised that I would be much more respectful of the noise in this area. What was I saying? Okay, yes, the acceleration off the line isn't quite as jaw-dropping as the other Hellcat-powered vehicles, but that's because of the additional weight and physics of this Ram T-Rex. It is, however, still crazy impressive for a pickup truck. Ram quotes 0 to 60 time of 4.5 seconds, but independent tests have seen faster. Top speed, don't try it in this vehicle. It's 112 miles an hour. It is still crazy acceleration, and you still get that supercharger whine. Whee! And then the HEMI noise after that. The exhaust note is fabulous. I love the sound of the exhaust on this very burly truck. And the suspension system, we'll get more into the off-road specifics of the suspension, but around town, it lends itself to really excellent driving dynamics. It doesn't at all feel like it's not ever in control in a corner. And the steering, the way they tune the steering is superb. So it's loose and it's comfortable, but it can really handle itself in a corner far better than you would expect for something of this size and weight. The brakes as well, you've got those 15-inch rotors front and rear, and they haul this big vehicle down without too much drama at all. So all the performance elements are there. You've got that power, you've got that noise. And beyond the performance, because I mean, this is a sport truck, it's an off-road truck, but like I said in the beginning of this video, you are going to spend most of your time around town. How is it as a daily driver? And I'm going to say it's sensational. I couldn't think of the word. It's sensational to drive around town. It's comfortable. It's easy enough to see out of. I really wish it had that panoramic sunroof to bring in more light into this very dark cabin. But you've got all the active safety features that you need. You've got adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist if you choose that level 2 group. You have, very importantly, a surround view camera system that I highly recommend, because this is a very big vehicle, and it's kind of hard. If you're not used to driving big trucks like this, it's kind of hard to know the dimensions of it, especially when you're in a small space like a parking lot. Also important is going to be blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic. Again, that's part of that level 2 equipment group. So worth that extra money, just because you just feel much more confident knowing that even if you can't actually see, the blind spot monitoring system will take care of that for you. And yes, in small spaces, this truck is a lot to handle, a lot to maneuver. You are, if you're not used to this, again, gonna have to probably repark it like 3 or 4 times, at least for the first month that you're driving the truck, just until you know the exact dimensions. And it takes up all of the lane when you're driving on the road. It takes up all of the parking space when you're parking. It's huge. It is very much huge. If you've ever driven a Raptor, it'll be kind of the same experience, even though this is even wider and taller and longer than a Raptor. So that is the only thing that you'll need to get used to if you're not used to driving big vehicles like this. I talked to a gentleman who has the Trackhawk, and this is going to be his next vehicle, and I just sat there with him, and I'm just like, look, understand, he's not used to driving pickup trucks. This thing is massive. And so just calibrate your brain for that, and you will be fine. Just understand that your U-turns are going to be a bit wider, your stopping distances are going to be a bit longer, and you'll adapt. You just will. Going into drive modes for a second, I pointed out Sport when we did that launch. That got me into trouble. But we have Sport for quicker throttle response, quicker shifts from this ZF 8-speed automatic gearbox, and a little bit more heft and resistance on the steering wheel. Then we've got the auto mode that you can kind of just leave it in pretty much all the time. Oh, I can do a U-turn right now, actually. See how that goes. Not awful. Honestly, not awful. Certainly not for a pickup truck. Anyway, yes, the auto mode, you can really just leave it in most of the time and you're going to be totally good. It's going to work its way through those 8 gears from the ZF automatic transmission smoothly. It's going to do its best to maximize fuel economy when it can, but really you're looking at 10 city, 14 highway, and 12 combined. 12 combined MPG in a modern vehicle is awful. It might be the worst production vehicle in terms of fuel economy. I don't know. If you know something worse, then let me know in the comments below. But I think this is pretty much there. And I've been averaging 8. 8. And that's not all launch controls and stuff like that. That's just like me motoring around the city. So just expect that you're going to be visiting that fuel station a lot. But auto mode is good. And then you've got a custom mode where you can calibrate the 4-wheel drive system and the transmission and the steering and all that stuff independently. Don't mess with custom mode. Just leave it in auto mode. It's really, really good. And that is pretty much the spread of your street drive modes. We now need to take it off-road and play around with this off-road drive modes and get in more into the 4-wheel drive system and your locking rear differential and the suspension and the jump control, jump sensing, whatever they call it, the jump mode that Billy wanted so bad. All right, to off-road, and then we'll come back and we'll do conclusion and competition. All right, we've made it to the off-road portion of this review, which is to say basically just a really poorly maintained road. But we do have some dirt and some ruts and some gaps and holes and maybe even a jump. So the purpose of this is not going to be really to test the limits of the TRX's capabilities, just to kind of see how it might handle high speed, low traction, high impact situations. So to do that, we're going to go into 4-wheel drive high, then to the drive mode, Baja. Now Baja is going to turn off traction control and improve throttle response and shift timing. And away we go. So to start with the platform for the Ram TRX, Ram gave it a more structurally rigid chassis, structurally rigid chassis. And then from there, they give it a fully independent front suspension and a Dana 60 solid rear axle. So the front suspension is going to be able to handle the chatter off-road, and the Dana 60 is going to improve our final drive ratio and crawl ratio, and it's just very durable, very, very durable. And then in terms of our ground clearance, we have 11.8 inches of ground clearance. Our approach, departure, and breakover angles are all excellent. They're right there with the Ford F-150 Raptor, and in some cases slightly better. And then the suspension. So the F-150 Raptor has Fox 3-inch internal bypass shocks, and the Ram TRX has bespoke Bilstein 2.5-inch Hawk E2 shocks with 3 pistons and 1 monotube and electronically proportioned valves, so you can control the fluid transfer, basically build up the hydraulic resistance in fractions of a second to absorb the impacts like these that you're going to find off-road. And that is the good stuff. That's the good stuff of the Ram TRX. And now we're going to get to see how that all performs here off-road. And already, I mean, I'm loving this Hellcat engine out here. The pickup is instant. And you have to imagine that you're going to be able to slide out and control that slide really nicely. I don't have access to the donut-capable terrains where I could try that out, but I do have access to long stretches where I can test out that engine, these brakes, and this suspension. Oh, and this comes up to a rut right here, a big one. Oh, took that nicely. Okay, here's a little dirt. Let's see if we can, yep. Back end comes around nicely. Very light, very easy. Woo! Oh yeah. Oh, this is a good time. This is a very good time. And it just soaks up this stuff so easily. Woo! And then you get that sound too. No one's gonna sound like this off-road. I mean, as a production vehicle. Yes, there are, of course, Corvette-powered vehicles running straight from the headers. They're gonna sound better, but my goodness, this is cool. All right, so soaking this up like it's nothing. This is amazing. Okay, and now we're getting to a fun part. Big dip here. Woo! Okay, that was cool. That was really cool. And I think I'm gonna turn around because if I do it the other direction, I can get some air. All right, I'm ready. Let's do this. Turn this dip into a jump. Whoa! Oh, that was awesome. That was amazing, and it felt as easy as a speed bump. That's crazy. Oh gosh, all right, I'm satisfied. The T-Rex is amazing. Yes, I'm not doing other things like rock crawling because I don't have access to it where I am. I have to stay local because my wife could go into labor at any moment. But I mean, this just makes me have full appreciation for what Ram's done with this T-Rex. And I know that in certain situations, the Raptor is going to be better. I think it's got a better crawl ratio, so maybe if you're going to get into rock crawling, get the Raptor, but that's not the purpose of these trucks anyway. So this can hack it with the Raptor, and again, I'm satisfied. So let's kick it back to the on-road portion for competition and a wrap-up. All right, we're going to finish this one off on the highway. So the Ram 1500 T-Rex, it is comfortable on the road. It is capable off-road. And now that we're doing freeway speeds here, it's almost even quiet. I mean, not really quiet, but for what it is, this is pretty impressive. You've got a little bit of wind noise, a light hum from those 35-inch tires, and that's pretty much it. They don't even tram line in the grooves of the road. You don't have to do much on the steering. It just cruises. I would take this on a long road trip. Yeah, no problems. But is this the most BA pickup truck you can buy from the factory, or do you need to look at the Ford F-150 Raptor? Well, okay, keep in mind that the F-150 Raptor is going to have a new generation soon, but we don't have it just yet. So we've got the 2020 model year to look at, and that one is going to start in Super Crew body style at $58,000, so significantly less than the starting price for the Ram 1500 T-Rex, which is just under $72,000. So there's a big delta there in price, but there's also a big delta in performance. You've got 450 horsepower for the F-150 Raptor, 702 for this. Fuel economy, also a big difference, but in the Raptor's favor. at 16 combined for that twin turbo V6 there. If you want this supercharged V8, then you've got 12 combined. And I know that doesn't sound like a ton, but that wouldn't matter if you got higher in the fuel economy scale. But on the lower end, it's really kind of exponential. It's the difference between filling up all the time in the TRX and having this giant fuel tank, and therefore, you know, hundreds and then upon thousands of dollars that you're budgeting extra per year in fuel, versus the F-150 Raptor, where yes, you're filling up a lot. That guy was just running probably straight headers. You're filling up a lot, but not quite as often, and you're not therefore having as massive of a fuel bill every year. That's going to be the difference there. Beyond those things, it's pretty much purely aesthetic. Do you like the look of the F-150 Raptor? Because in terms of their performance off-road, slightly better crawl ratio for the Raptor, but they're both going to do the same things in the desert. They can both do jumps. They can both go fast. They're both going to be comfortable. So, Raptor or T-Rex? I think it's going to be the T-Rex, because I think this truck levels everything up in terms of wow factor over the Raptor. If you can pay for it, if you can pay for the price tag, and if you can pay for the fuel, then I say go T-Rex. If you're looking at the regular F-150 or the regular Ram 1500, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do it. This is really just for machismo. It's for having the most awesome pickup truck that money can buy from the factory. And I think in those ways, Billy's dream, and now in a little way, my dream for a pickup truck has been realized in this T-Rex. And yes, it kind of eats the Raptor. I'll see you guys next time.